It's the week of Gamescom, so expect big announcements at opening night live, and yet indie developers are still releasing games with some absolutely gorgeous titles and a hidden gem or two or three. So let's begin with Shantae Advanced Risky Revolution, a revival of sorts since this was technically planned as the second game in the series but was cancelled in 2004, making a comeback in full glorious GBA era pixel art and aspect ratio, once again having you playing as the titular half-genie heroine as she uses her hair and animal transformations in this Metroidvania, and given the pedigree, is a no-brainer pick. Before there was Mega Loot, there was Yollen, a minimalist incremental title framed as an RPG, where you're on a quest to get your revenge on the character Yollen who broke your world into pieces. Every action in this game is one step closer to defeating Yollen as you gather resources, cook, smith, and fight enemies. It might be mathematical in terms of the systems, but the developer says that you need to understand how the world works in order to progress, not just being a simple Skinner box style clicker title and looks like fun. This video is brought to you by Replay Value Second-Hand Games, a cozy simulation title where you run a second-hand game store buying and selling used games in a nostalgia-laden world. Negotiate with an array of familiar-looking customers, haggling over price for their collections or handling specific requests for games that they want to buy, making a profit while doing so. There are also mini-games in which you restore old games, cleaning CDs or repairing boxes to boost their value, with a whole shop management aspect where you have to place your games on shelves and to set prices, with a number of upgrades for your shop like extra shelves or decorations like posters and figures to make it truly yours. You will get a daily summary of all transactions made in the day, similar to old school simulation titles with infinite replayability due to the randomized customers, personalities, and hundreds of games to collect, being a cheeky tribute to the love of video games, so wishlist on Steam if interested. A captivating action-adventure title is Altheia: The Wrath of Aferi, where you control Lily, a sword-wielding guardian, and Sadi, an ancient monk, teaming up to defeat the Void, corrupting their vibrant world. For the most part, you appear to be controlling Lily, using her sword to hack and slash at enemies and to dodge roll when necessary, but can call upon Sadi's powerful magic for additional damage or to solve environmental puzzles, combining their skills to activate mechanisms or to clear obstacles. It is inspired by classic Zelda games, so expect to explore winding dungeons, battling enemies, and solving a puzzle or two along the way, while you find ways to cleanse corrupted shrines and temples while rescuing the spirits within. There are some amazing looking giant bosses to battle, with, I believe, plenty of skills to upgrade and abilities to unlock. The art style stands out as well, being very purple and more muted than a traditional one of these, looking pretty good and should be fun. Discounty is a cozy management sim of interest, where you run a discount supermart in the quirky harbour town of Blomkast, entrusted by your aunt to take over her business. You design your store's layout, arranging shelves and decorations to optimize customer flow while juggling tasks like restocking products and to ring up purchases at the checkout. Managing stock levels is essential to keep your customers happy, while you do also have to strike deals with local manufacturers to lock down your supply. You can build relationships with the townsfolk through after-hours exploration, but beware, since not everyone in town is friendly, and some might just want to see your downfall. Aim to maximize profits while keeping your customers happy, investing profits back into the shop, expanding it, stocking it with new items and more to attract even more customers. The pixel art is charming and looks good, with the atypical theme being an interesting take on the life/farming sim, so think Moonlighter but without the fighting and you get some idea. With this, perhaps having some inspiration from games like Supermarket Simulator and could be a hit.
My name is Alan Wake, and I'm a writer.
We also have the launch of Alan Wake Design Works, the latest in a series of physical books from publisher Lost in Cult and developer Remedy Entertainment. This is a 250-page tome filled with developer interviews, and is an extensive deep dive into the franchise with lore, developer stories, and art. Also, this hides a secret using thermoreactive ink that reveals hidden exclusive concept art as you interact with the book itself, with the limited quantity deluxe edition including a whole bunch of goodies such as a fold-out map, Polaroids, posters, and more, with the first 500 orders getting a hand-signed card by Sam Lake, as well as the creative and art directors on the games, so if you're a fan, get this via the link in the description below. One of my most anticipated titles of the week is Knightica, a turn-based roguelite auto-battler where you lead a warband to liberate the fractured kingdoms from dangerous enemies, recruit units like the undead or magicians, placing and rotating them on the grid to maximize their unique abilities, such as range spells or melee attacks, then hit the go button and watch the battle unfold automatically. Removing direct control means that army composition will be important, so your choice of commanders, units, and items will matter a lot in your success. You have a choice between battles, deciding between going to the shop or battling an elite enemy, for example, with random events thrown into the mix as well that present you with different reward options. Powerful synergies between your units will be central to your success, aided with the ability to upgrade troops, as well as the strategic use of demonic souls and enchantments, building up to game-breaking combos. The vivid 2D art style does contrast with the more dark fantasy vibes, but it works, and given the pre-launch hype, is certainly one to watch. Other games begin with Abyss New Dawn, a crafting action-adventure game that seems to be heavily inspired by Made in Abyss, in which there's a village up top and a dangerous abyss down below, where you can choose peaceful farming or daring dives into the dangerous depths. You roam the starting region of Elder Grove, gathering resources to craft gear, build bases, and tame creatures, while battling enemies in real-time combat with melee or ranged attacks. The gameplay loop involves farming crops, mining rare minerals, and crafting and building in the village, combined with combat and expeditions into the abyss. Survive the battles and use hard-fought resources to get stronger, giving you the ability to delve deeper in the future. Do note that this will be an early access release, with the first 2 layers being available out of a planned total of 10, so if you love that manga/anime, then this should be of interest. Auto Dungeon might not look that impressive, but this is a roguelite auto-battler where you play as a summoner, building an army to conquer the procedurally generated astral plane and to reclaim your stolen mystical rings. You collect cards to summon diverse creatures, equipping, enchanting, and mutating them, using your army to unleash attacks on your enemies, allowing you to capture them and even to fuse minions together to enhance their synergistic traits. Combat auto-resolves here, so like Knightica mentioned above, army composition will matter, with a deck building aspect to this game adding to the strategic depth. There's a deep customization system letting you create unique warriors with game-changing effects, definitely looking like an intriguing prospect. Love indie games? Sign up to my newsletter to get a weekly dose of what's hot, along with some news and of course, weekly game giveaways, so if interested, link is in the description below. Bean Beasts is essentially Pokemon Tower Defense, where you use powerful creatures as towers to fend off waves of monsters on a mysterious island. Place your Bean Beasts and traps on handcrafted maps, redirecting enemies with walls or triggering abilities like summons or elemental attacks to help your creatures clear waves. In tower defense fashion, the position and type of towers that you use will be critical, where each creature has unique attacks and can even evolve into more powerful forms. There will be over 50 types of enemies across 5 biomes, which should provide variety and challenge, with epic boss fights as well, but your so-called portal in this game is you on a powerful beast of your own, serving as some sort of mega tower which actually attacks as well. Furthermore, it might not look like it, but the game has physics and you can shove enemies backwards or into danger, and of course, as a pixel art fan, the art style certainly has my attention, being the hidden gem of the week. It's August 2025 and we are still getting Vampire Survivors style bullet heaven roguelites, the latest of which is Book Shooter, where you control a magical tomb in a forbidden area and as a book will be unable to move. Weirdly enough, the characters that you play as are based on real books like Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time or even the Bible, with, I presume, abilities and skills which are thematically appropriate, as you use these to defeat swarms of enemies and even devouring gods. You know the drill by now, spells like fireballs will automatically fire, but you have to aim, with more interesting spells thrown into the mix like summoning skeletal archers, where removing the ability to move means that you cannot dodge out of the way, so I don't think enemies fire at you, being a different enough take which makes it of interest. Also, this is level based and you are selecting which stage and boss to take on, adding some strategy as you choose the opponent which you would most likely be able to defeat while weighing the rewards as well. You can craft and customize your book by mixing and matching pages, books, the elemental focus and so on, with a massive progression system which involves using collected drops and ink to unlock new upgrades, with clean looking art and will be for fans of the genre. Yes, I know there have been a lot of roguelites already, but add another one to the pile in Bossfight Tactics, a turn-based RPG with amazing 1-bit pixel art, where you lead a party of adventurers to outsmart enemies using items as the main strategic element. You see, while the characters look physically different, there are no character classes, abilities or stats, and it's just a cosmetic difference where the variance comes in the form of random item drops from enemies. Inspired by Slay the Spire and Into the Breach, enemy intentions are made known to you so you can plan tactically on your next actions, with synergistic item combinations being key to your success. Also, the twist is that if you beat the game, your party then becomes the boss for your next run, so you literally have to keep trying to one-up yourself, so I wonder what the endgame scenario will look like for this, if you will ever get to a stage where the boss is unbeatable and is my runner-up for Hidden Gem of the Week. Developer Script Welder is somewhat of an indie game legend, probably best known for their Flash adventure games in the Don't Escape series in particular, and they are back with Deep Sleep Labyrinth of the Forsaken, itself part of the Deep Sleep series, but is a standalone title that can be enjoyed with no prior knowledge. This is a chilling pixel art point-and-click adventure game that you think might not be scary, but does have some jump scares and heavier themes like death. You play as Amy, a small town vet, navigating through a dream world to uncover the truth behind her brother's supposed death. You explore haunting, ever-shifting landscapes, solving puzzles by manipulating the environment with lucid dreaming powers, using this to progress forward. It is a classic point-and-click adventure game, but does still have some elements of randomized design, which, along with multiple endings, does provide some amount of replayability, having amazing art in my opinion, but perhaps that's just because I love the medium. Here's a vibrant arcade roguelite of interest in Draggin, where you cast spells by clicking and dragging a mouse-controlled spell box, using it to damage and capture waves of cute but deadly dragons in this whimsical fantasy world. You dodge enemy attacks by moving your cursor and then swoop in for tactical attacks, weaving your way through colourful locales and battling unique dragon types along the way. Your goal is to survive increasingly tough waves while trying to complete 30 plus challenges, earning spells and outfits to customize your look and abilities. Playing with the mouse as a control scheme is interesting, especially since we use it in an everyday context and don't think too much about it, so seeing it in a video game is neat and does have a very charming vibe. On the other end of the scale in terms of vibes is Eternal Exile Beneath the Darkness, a dark fantasy shooter where you battle through nightmarish dimensions as a survivor wielding magic and firepower against hordes of the undead. You explore grim ruins, looting treasure chests, and weaponizing the environment, luring enemies into traps while also gunning them down with a range of weapons and upgrades for these as well. Every defeated enemy leaves behind a shard of its soul, which you can collect and use to get stronger, with the minute-to-minute action looking absolutely brutal as well. Sure, it is not the prettiest title and does not have that Unreal Engine 5 ultra-polished look, but there's an old-school charm to this game. Also, your decisions will impact the fate of the world, whether it gets reduced to ashes or shrouded in eternal darkness, or perhaps something else, but certainly will be for FPS fans. Yes, we are back to bullet heaven roguelites once again in Funguys Swarm, a cartoony and charming looking title where you play as quirky forest creatures or fun guys, not limited to mushroom-like fungi of course, fighting the Fire King's flaming minions as the forest burns. This has classic Vampire Survivors style gameplay as you circle strafe and avoid enemies while firing off powerful attacks of your own, having more forest and nature themed weapons like what seems to be a wedge of watermelon used as a sword or seed bombs instead of classic explosives. The mutant veggie enemies in particular look kind of cute and will have boss fights as well, Soulstone Survivor style, having plenty of upgrade options both during a run as well as in between them in the form of rescued forest creatures which gives you permanent upgrades. I think that this looks absolutely adorable and interestingly comes to us from Stairway Games, makers of the farming sim Coral Island, so while it's in a different genre, I trust this team to be able to make something fun. Yet another bullet heaven roguelite is Gunlocked 2, the sequel to a fan favourite title, where this is framed like a vertical shoot 'em up but with roguelite style randomization and overpowered upgrade combinations. You pilot a warship against endless alien waves, zipping through space with 360-degree analog movement, dodging bullets with an active dodge ability, and auto-firing upgraded weapons like lasers or drones. You choose warp gates to jump between zones, each offering unique battles and rewards, while stacking infinite upgrades to tweak your build. Survive the alien hordes and bosses, selecting pilots, augments and utilities for wild synergies to power up your ship with deep customization and many possible builds to try. I do love the pixel art as well, looking very sci-fi if you know what I mean, with this being an expanded version of the original with more stuff, so maybe this will be an even better game. Another action roguelite of interest is Kill the Music, but this time with a rhythm twist, where you play as Roxy, wielding musical instruments as weapons to battle hordes of enemies in this tragic music-driven underworld. You auto-attack to the beat of the music, but can press buttons to boost your damage and also to build your combo counter to unleash powerful hold attacks. As you explore the procedurally generated levels, you collect spirit energy from defeated enemies, using these to unleash powerful solo attacks that amplify your instrument's power, having this curious dual superpowered attack system which is worth keeping an eye on. As you defeat bosses, you piece together Roxy's tragic story about how her music venue burned down and how all of her friends are dead, with death itself using them against her. The art style is certainly of note, with amazing hand-drawn art and some impressive animations, which is signature of this developer, who also made Infinite Guitars, and even as someone who is not that into music, this looks cool, so I'm in. We also have the release of the long-in-development action-adventure title named The Girl from Arkanya, where you guide Marissa, a treasure hunter, and a magical capybara, Cappy, through the lush jungles of Amazonia, inspired by classic 2D Zelda games like Minish Cap. You explore 7 handcrafted zones, swapping between Marissa's melee attacks and Cappy's abilities to solve puzzles and battle foes, using 15 unique tools like a grappling hook, which you wield to solve puzzles, access hidden areas, or to use in combat. Clear 6 themed dungeons, each with a unique boss, while gathering artifacts that unravel Amazonia's mysterious history. Progression hinges on unlocking sacred dances, special moves that grant magical abilities, which you earn by completing challenges and progressing the story, adding depth to exploration and combat. Interestingly, you're able to seamlessly swap between the two characters, mixing and matching skills and abilities to progress while keeping you engaged, with there also being co-op support so you can play with a friend, each controlling one character. The pixel art isn't the most mind-blowing, high-bit pixel art, but it works for a title evoking Four Swords Adventures and Minish Cap, where I'm just happy to see this finally being released. A first-person job simulator looking to make a splash is Waterpark Simulator, where you're tasked with building and managing a bustling water park, designing thrilling rides and keeping guests happy in a vibrant, comedy-soaked world that echoes theme parks' charm with a twist. You create custom pools and attractions, tweaking colours, shapes, and adding props and accessories, while also having to do hands-on tasks like selling tickets, serving snacks, or rescuing floundering guests. You can fire water guns at visitors, throw beach balls, or even push divers off boards if you so choose, with ragdoll physics adding to the hilarity. And I'm sure that someone is going to go the evil route and trap their guests in a swimming pool or something. The aim is to skyrocket your park's rating by ensuring that your visitors love these slides and amenities, earning enough profit to expand the park with new zones, hiring staff to help manage the chaos as you go to greater heights. The slide crafting system is the most interesting to me, and I'm sure that there will be straight up evil slides that kill people or something, but all presented with that whimsical flair of a first-person simulator and might be fun. This one's for indie game developers. The free indie game marketing resources are ready, so sign up via the link in the description below to get it in your mailbox. A pulse-pounding roguelite first-person shooter is Voidbreaker, where you're trapped in an endless cycle by a hostile AI, fighting relentless machines in a sci-fi nightmare. You dash through arenas with fluid movement, chaining together lightning-fast shots and dodges to outmaneuver your enemies, using a deep gun modding system to craft insane weapon combos incorporating explosive rounds, lasers, or rockets. The environment is destructible, so carve a path through by blasting walls and collapsing structures, sometimes on top of enemies, turning the environment into a weapon as well. There's a node-based map of sorts, so once you're done with an area, you get to choose which path to take, whether it be more dangerous enemies for better loot, or a safer path if you're low on health. What hooks you is the infinite weapon crafting system, which seems to have so many possibilities, with a sick art style as well, and could be a hit, but do note that this will be an early access release. On paper, one of the most hyped titles of the week is Caravanner's co-op open world camping, a first-person simulation title where you roam a sprawling open world, building your dream caravan and pitching campsites across a variety of biomes like a dense forest, snowy peaks, or arid deserts. As you go on this epic road trip, you start with a humble truck and an empty caravan, taking on a host of side jobs like fishing, snapping photos, or trading oil to earn cash, using it to upgrade and customize your mobile home, paint the exterior, add bumpers, swap wheels, and furnish the interior with a fridge, sink, curtains, a couch, and more, making it truly your own. Drive through a dynamic world with swimmable lakes and hidden places, exploring villages, towns, islands, and more, being able to set up camp anywhere and to just sit back and relax. Play solo or join up to 4 friends in co-op, cruising in convoys for shared adventures across the open world, immersing yourself in nature and embracing the freedom of nomadic life. It is a sandbox, so the rewards and progression are more intrinsically motivated as you explore and discover cool things about the world and earn money to customize your caravan how you like it, with co-op looking ideal since you can just sit around with friends in this virtual environment to just have a chat, so I can definitely see its appeal. From the developer of Far Lone Sails and Far Changing Tides comes Herdling, a captivating, moody adventure game with a similar vibe to their previous titles, but this time from a behind-the-back camera instead of side-scrolling. You play as a child shepherd, guiding a herd of adorable and mysterious creatures through the treacherous alpine mountains, which are brimming with dangers in what looks like a heartfelt journey. You lead your herd across stunning mountainscapes, fog-wreathed forests, and snowy plateaus, using intuitive herding mechanics to navigate obstacles and to solve light environmental puzzles, mixed in with exhilarating stampede sequences to vary up the pace of the game. Your goal is to reach the summit and to uncover its mystery, protecting and bonding with your herd along the way. I'm not expecting this to be too mechanically deep, which was not needed in their previous games, instead being an emotional tale about trust and survival, which is wordlessly conveyed to you, looking hauntingly beautiful. From one very pretty adventure exploration game to another in Sword of the Sea, coming to us from developer Giant Squid, best known for Abzu and The Pathless, where you play as the Wraith in this game, a resurrected figure surfing a magical hover sword across a desolate desert sea in order to restore a lost ocean, with vibes echoing Journey's haunting beauty. You glide over sand dunes, chaining tricks like flips and spins to build speed, using environmental half pipes in the ruins to get to where you need to go, finding ocean seeds, which are then used to flood areas with water, unlocking new paths in the process. This game looks absolutely gorgeous, especially with the water physics applied to sand, with an intriguing central mystery about what happened to the world, with talks of something more sinister lurking under the waves as well. There's no combat, and I don't believe a trick system to score points per se, but the movement is instead in service of exploration, looking like a curious combination of Tony Hawk Pro Skater elements into an exploration title, so I'm very excited for this. Developer Free Lives are back with Stick It to the Stickman, a physics-based side-scrolling brawler with a roguelite structure, where you're literally fighting your way up the corporate ladder using an array of weapons and powers. This developer just jumps from one genre to the next to great success, and seemingly can do no wrong, so let's see, but it certainly has high potential. Watch this video for more of the best indie games. Roguelite.